This isn't just a wall full of junk. No, it's my wall full of junk. Souvenirs from one man's version of the American dream. Ever since I mowed my first lawn for money, I've been a small business boy. Now, I guess I'm a small business man, a cameraman. My dad became an engineer rather than an entrepreneur, a choice that's still paying off for him. As for me, over 30 years later, I'm still shooting. I just hope my daughter will have a similar shot at finding her niche in a country she too will call the land of opportunity. And oh, what an opportunity it is. I got lights, a camera, 2x4, and some half-baked ideas. Haha, life's good. I'm making another shot. And I'm taking a shot at fixing what's wrong with this dismal economy. But don't worry, I have help. Help from one of the greatest minds of all time. And when you see me hit this stop button, you will have heard a magic formula, a universal truth that can help get us out of this mess. But first, we have to ask ourselves, what if? What if we continue to do nothing? Well, if our country can keep getting loans, the debt we leave our kids wouldn't be good. My daughter was born with about $20,000 of debt. Now, she and the rest of us owe over $50,000. We are on the road to Greece. So I asked my daughter, the artist, to make me a cliff for a demonstration I want to try. She comes up with this. What? She says it's Cliff. Cliff the Clown. I guess his first name's Fiscal. In December, the right and the left hopped into a car together to try to steer us away from that cliff. In the end, they agreed to raise taxes and cut spending later. Now, I shot this before the deal, but I think it shows exactly what happened. We didn't go over that cliff, but once again we punched a hole in the full faith and trust in our government's ability to deal with all that red ink. Our credit rating took yet another hit, and at some point it could all burst into a classic debt spiral. That was out of focus. The car was supposed to burst a balloon. This is borderline pathetic. Let's go upstairs to the bathroom and cross that border. Okay, this hose contains cool, clear cash. It represents the money we borrow each and every day. Currently, we borrow at a rate of about 46 cents for every dollar we spend. It all gets converted in this deal to red ink, then goes into the container with the rest of our debt. If we need to raise our debt ceiling, we just get a bigger jug. It all gets released here right on to we the people. One pinhead for every million people, all floating on the sea of obligation in that big aluminum boat I call the SSUS. So here we are trying to evaporate all this red ink. Luckily, we have help from the big old fan of freedom, the destroyer of death. And it gets its power through our E-dapter, which converts human creativity and ingenuity into prosperity, allowing us to plug into the greatest and biggest economy in the world. This is the debtometer. It measures the amount of debt being retired. If every revolution evaporates $1 million in debt, 16 million revolutions later, we're debt-free. The Federal Reserve has what they call a toolkit to keep our economy in tune. They can buy and sell bonds, regulate the interest rates, and of course print money. But if they lose their focus and things get out of control, they may not have the proper tool left in their kit, and we're in big trouble. If we're forced to take on too much red ink too fast, and the biggest economy in history goes under, God help the rest of the world. We are the pinheads if we let that happen. We need to act now. Time is running out. Hear that alarm? We gotta wake up and drink the coffee. Then, find common grounds, and with a loud, united voice, we force the politician's hand to take our economy out of the deep freeze, and that's when we put the big E on the front burner. And with bold legislation, we crank up the heat. That heats up fast. What will that do? Well, as our economy thaws, good things happen. Once again, Lady Liberty will lift us out of trouble as she extends her hand to people. People who have renewed hope. People that were dependent are now independent as they find jobs at wages people in demand. Every speck you see is a person free to live their own version of the American dream. I know, you're saying, how is that going to happen? Hey, I'm optimistic. I've been listening. Over 25 years ago, Mr. Sony put a radio in his legendary Walkman. Cassettes, now with AM, FM, I'm tuned in right through my pants. In stereo, music on the FM, then AM talk, back to NPR. Can't sleep at night? I got the BBC. And now, finally, we have consensus. Both sides agree we have to both raise revenue and cut spending. And to do that in the least painful way possible, they also agree we gotta grow. That's right, grow our economy. There'll be cash in the vault. There will be no default. And that's enough, paper cowboy. You know, for years, I've been listening to economists tell us how to get that growth we need. One will say, you know what we need to do? We need to do more stimulus. We got to spend big and spend now. The other one will say, oh no, that's wrong. We got to cut big and cut now. Do they even know if their theories will work? What we need is the Einstein of economics. That guy figured out how the whole universe worked, and to this day, they still say he's right. And then it occurred to me, wait a second, maybe Al has the answer. As a young patent clerk, he opened his mind and gazed into the crystal ball of space and time. And in 1905, Albert Einstein published his special theory of relativity. That, of course, led to the most famous scientific formula of all. E equals mc squared. But what if the E stood for the economy? I thought, yeah, and M money, C capital, capitalism, communism. I didn't know. I was confused. So I got on the phone and I talked to my financial genius friend Don. Don said, no, the M stands for the free market. So there we have it. It's really quite simple. The economy is equal to the market divided by corruption squared. My daughter calls it the special theory of economativity. And remember, corruption is squared. So if that's the key, let's use it to unlock our tax code. Pages of corruption, or so-called tax breaks. But over the years, it has grown so much, I ran out of paper for my quarter-scale simulation. Sorry about the coffee can filler, but we're currently over 70,000 pages high. But what if our tax code fit on a 3x5 recipe card? Not a lot of room for tax breaks, loopholes, and/or corruption. Check it out. All personal income is taxed at 20%. Corporate income taxed at 35%. There's room for one loophole, 35% minus X%, which is the percentage that is equal to the percentage of U.S. employees. 100% U.S. employees, you pay no tax. Or refer to pages 2 through 73,608 until we phase it out in the next 3 years. And it's all called the Cameraman Plan. A plan to jumpstart our economy. A friendly little plan. Friendly to businesses small, medium, and large. And here they are, joining their colleagues in a heaping bowl of business. Companies looking to expand, relocate, emerge, and thrive, all reacting to our country's catalytic new tax code. Corruption is on the run, and our economy is back. Florida, too. Look at all those new American companies, creating jobs right here. Some will turn their ideas into wealth right out of thin air. Our country has a history of creating products that change lives and deliver prosperity, that resulted in an ever-rising standard of living for us and people all over the world. Foreign companies took our ball and ran with it. That's okay. The US of A led the way in the last century, and in this one, we still are. Don't believe me? Just pull out your iPhone and Google it. Now I'm almost done, so bear with me. But if our good fortune is to continue, we're going to have to deal with all this red ink. It threatens the very structure that supports all of us. There's no avoiding it. We're all in the same boat. And hanging over our heads is all the money we borrowed. And they're about to get a bigger jug. Time is running out. The world once again is depending on us to step up big like my mom and dad's generation did. They beat back the weeds that grew in the fertile soil of the Great Depression. It took a world war to get back on track. Now, we don't need World War III, but we're in the middle of World War E. And I don't want to find out what happens if we lose, but what if? What if we use our secret weapon, our scientific formula? We take a bayonet to the C and we grow the E. Yeah. And what if America quit Dancing with the Stars and they tune into a real reality show? A show with huge ratings where America's not idle. Yeah, season 1 could be all about the tax code. There's plenty of good plans out there. Maybe mine's one of them. I don't know. Or maybe they just let me be a cameraman. The point is, the plans compete. America listens, America votes, Congress acts, and our kids and grandkids have a shot at their version of the American dream. Thanks for watching my shop. See ya.